Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Landscaping to the Point. I am here live with JC and Josh. Mr. OnlyFans down there is go ahead and eating a banana live on Instagram and everywhere else in the world, but okay.
He set himself up
Morning,
for a nice piece of
Benson. How are
content.
you?
It's the most
Yeah.
important meal of the day.
Well, yeah. I mean, I had some pancakes and sausage and all kinds of stuff, but I didn't have my banana yet this morning. So I guess, that's something that we need to touch on. So I can't believe you're sitting there eating a banana. Oh, so good morning, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you aren't watching, please subscribe. Landscapes by Acme YouTube. Jason Benson's throwing me off this morning. And then listen to us, Landscaping to the Point, on all your podcast forms, Spotify, iHeart, Google, Apple, whatever the heck you're listening to. Listen to us. Comment. We love the comment. Subscribe. Comment. Like us. Tell us what we can do best. Good morning, fellas. How are you guys doing this week?
Been good.
It's been a hot one by me. How about you guys?
It's been hot, but today is beautiful. It's like 65 degrees. It's almost like the beginning of fall, where it's just perfect weather.
Yeah, it's nice. It's been a change. It's been humid. I think most of the country's been going through the same stuff. We've had a lot of rain off and on. Yesterday, some thunderstorms, but it's a good day. Good day.
Yeah, it's we had 105 yesterday is what we had. Yeah, so it was kind of a little warm. Not too bad, but a little warm. But it's actually nice today. We had some nasty storms come through, knocked down a lot of trees in our area. Literally tumbled them over. We had one that we went to Friday, actually, because we had a storm Thursday night, and we went to one to do some trimming. And luckily, we didn't have to take anything away because literally everything's out by the street because everybody had tree branches down in the neighborhood. So it was actually a good pruning job, but I didn't have to pay for disposal on anything, so that was actually pretty good. But yeah, it's one of those times. I like storm removal cleanup because it's a little bit more intense and a lot more work. What about you guys? Do you do any of that stuff? You guys get storms come through?
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially like some of the customers that I have kind of are late to the party. They always call you on a last minute service to get their stuff done. So like especially in the spring, you're cleaning up all the stuff left over from the winter time from the previous fall. But yeah, the beauty where I'm at is that either the streets, like where Josh is at now, the city will come and clean up a lot of the debris if something like that occurs. But where I'm at, people have their wood lines and they actually want you to kind of push all that stuff off to the into their woods or onto their own property, so you don't have to haul much of anything. I don't think I've ever really had to do much when it comes to
good.
that.
That's good. Now, Josh, I don't even think he owns a chainsaw, really, to tell you the truth. I mean, he probably doesn't even own one.
I got 3 of them, dude. I got 3 of them. A pole saw, a telescoping chainsaw. But I used to get a lot of calls for like storm cleanup, like after like mini type wannabe hurricane storms. But I think in the area I work in, people got so trained to call tree companies that I didn't get as many, or I couldn't respond as fast just because my schedule would be full. I would like to get more of them, but again, like I don't really favor the tree stuff. So I mean, if it was something simple, I'd shy away from them. Like I used to get 30-foot pines that would fall down. We go out, we chop them up. We'd spend a day there just cleaning everything up, and it was good coin. But for the most part, I don't really get much. Now, what I do get phone calls for is I know by watching the groundskeeper on Instagram, Fenway Park in Boston got 3.5 inches of rain, which means north of Boston where I work probably got, if not the same, like 2 inches. So the one thing I got yesterday with the phone calls and drainage systems that we installed. everybody calling, complaining that the drain system's backing up. It's not working. One of them had merit. That was a great job that we knew we had to correct. I don't think they fully remembered that we were coming back there to change some things and there's some variables on the job. But a lot of them were drywall systems where you understand these things are probably like 100 to 200 gallon capacity. And when you have that much rain and all your water shooting towards one area, those things fill up. You have to give them time. They're not instantaneous. And you guys know that you install drywalls. That's just a hollow cell with a bunch of 3/4 rock around it. It dribbles into the rock and then leaches into the soil. So when those things fill up, it's got nowhere to go. We do put a relief valve, but again, they back up. And, my first question to these people is, it's been raining every weekend for the past, just 2 months?
Yeah.
So were they working before? Was it working fine? And they came back with, they were working fine, but the past two storms, our phones have been blowing up with flash flood warning. So kind of there you go. So those are the phone calls I get now. And then what we'll get is Monday, I'll probably get it because of the amount of rain we got so quick. We'll get calls on people with water in the basement and such.
So, okay, now that you're doing this, like let's say you got that 3 inches, we got 4 inches, okay? It put us to some of our properties that we couldn't do a lot of the mowing. We have one actually, because it came in right before we got to our bigger ones, which is they have a lot of ponds. So literally we couldn't do a lot of the pond work that we normally do, which we have to do, down by the pond and kind of mow slower around the edges. But we couldn't do any of that because the ponds were so high because we got 4.5 inches. And that put the ponds way up high. It actually put one of our ponds that we maintain, we had to take and disconnect the pond pump because it was just the pump was all underwater, all the electrical. So we had to kind of do that. So does that deter you, especially you, Josh, with your landscaping and doing, patios? Did that fill up any of your areas to where, or have you seen that before to where you couldn't do a job and you're like, say, halfway through the job? How would you handle that? You muted yourself.
No, absolutely. I mean, even in the mowing days, it would mess things up. Where like you'd have a lawn that was just it was clay, and that water had nowhere to go. And we would always fall for it. We were like, 5 of the yards would be good, and that last yard you'd just be tearing up. But for the landscaping and hardscape, yeah, like we've had like pop-up showers, downpours that would come in after you put a base in and would just destroy your work. And that happened more. It was more of an issue when we would have when we were using stone pack or crusher run. So the 3/4 minus, the stuff that finishes in like a concrete like consistency. We've since switched over the past few years to open graded base, which is a 3/4 stone, 3/8 stone, and then polymeric sand. So the reason we did that too is because when we dig our depth for our base, say that's as much crushed stone as we have, we pitch the subsoil so that water runoff. I mean, in a downpour, you're not really defeating anything, but at the same time, as long as you have the decent draining soil, you have that much stone, we can usually move forward. We compact it, we see what comes up, and we've been good. But it does affect, like, the worst part is like we've had huge grading jobs, the new lawn installs, and it just downpours. And it's usually like when you're not flat graded and you have ruts and then you have mud everywhere, and then a 2-day job can turn into like a 2-week job by the time it dries out. So it's rain's a pain in the ass for people in our line of work,
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I've seen it many times. I've actually been witness to a company come in and actually grade a property, seed it, and literally we had a downpour right afterwards, and it literally washed it all away. And they pretty much diffused, saying that they weren't coming back in to reseed it, and the other company that had it done, had the landscape company called me up and asked me to come in and seed it, and I said I'm not touching it. That's you have to go through with them or find somebody else. I'm not going to come out and touch it, because if they did something wrong or they come back and try to come at me, I'm not going to have that effect of having to be the middleman and or the final man that did the job. So
yeah, that's crazy. Like I would like that's the one thing when we seed, like we have I have like probably 5 or 6 paid subscriptions that I use for the snow, but I'll also try to incorporate them during the summertime for the rain. And granted, you have these pop up showers that come out of nowhere you can't avoid, but those downpours when we see like rain forecasted, we'll hold off on the seeding just for that reason because you know how it works. You'll get that downpour and then you'll get that little gully that forms. And now you have this depression of water and you're trying to seed. So we'll look at little kitty.
New cat.
Yep.
Nice. That actually happened to me, Josh, when I was doing my reno last fall. I had it all the soil all spread out nice and everything like that, and it was actually unexpected rain. Like even in the forecast, it didn't see it. So I was planning on that day to do the seeding, and the good thing is I used like a really small amount of seed first because I kind of like I don't throw it all down at once to kind of get some more successful germination through it, and it like as soon as I was done for the day, like an hour later, just torrential downpours, and like I had to go back and kind of fix like some of the areas and whatnot, and then throw down some more seed. And yeah, it's tough, especially when you invest so much work into something like that. It hits you off the left field.
Oh yeah, it does. I mean, it can mess up a whole day, an extra day. It's just now, Josh, with your contracts, do you put that in there? Like, if you have to reseed, it costs them, or do you do it off of hand? Either of you guys?
Well, so anything with seed, it depends on what we do. Like obviously, like hydro seed has a better germination rate.
Right.
Conventional seed's a little bit cheaper, so a lot of people try to save the money. We do tell them that it's a 60 to 75% germination rate that you're gonna have to overseed regardless. So a lot of people know. As far as the washout, I think that's on the service provider's discretion. Like that's on you. Like if you put seed down, and you know it's gonna pour. I mean, that's just shitty business. You got to learn to keep an eye on that. I mean, if that were me, and the integrity behind it, I'd probably seed it again out of my pocket just because I made the mistake. Now, instances where like it's a week later and it's a downpour and stuff washes out. Yeah, I'd probably go back. You're not going to put down a whole giant bag of seed, but you price accordingly, something like that. But within like that week, if I know it's downpouring, I won't put the seed down. I won't bother. It's not worth the risk of wasting a few $100 in seed. And who knows, $1,000 in seed, depending on how big they are.
It's expensive
Seed's
now.
yeah, I know. Seed's like over 250, depending on what you get.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of the same way with our seating, and we kind of come out one time afterwards, and that's in our contract. We'll come out one time and just lightly seed everything if it doesn't grow within. We usually tell people 6 to 8 weeks. So usually after 6 to 8 weeks, we'll come back out and kind of look at it and seed one more time for free. But then after that, we're not coming back out for free. But I
Do you
kind of
do you
price
put
everything.
do you put a warranty? So I know some guys when they do a lawn install, what they'll do is they'll do a warranty on the lawn. Where if you already have lawn sprinklers installed, they'll try to get the mowing service and the fertilizer by saying, "Hey, we can give you a 1 or 2 year warranty if you sign up for mowing and fertilizer with us, and you kind of control the variables in the lawn." Is that something you do?
No, it's not. But we do when we sell it, we sell it with the starter fertilizer. And then actually when we come back for that 6 to 8 weeks afterwards to check the seed, we'll go ahead and fertilize it again. So that way we're in control of how it's getting fertilized. So a lot of companies in our area, there's some bigger fertilization companies. They kind of come in, and a lot of their guys don't know what they're doing. A
Mhm.
lot of the guys are just hired right off the street and just say here, just push this spreader, go spray this yard. They don't explain exactly, hey, if it's seed, you don't need to spray it with this, you need to spray it with this. They don't carry that stuff on them. So a lot of times, and customers aren't always there when their fur companies come. So they get hit with some weed chemicals and kill the grass. So we pretty much tell our customers, and we put it in there, we're going to fertilize it the first time. We'll come back in 6 to 8 weeks if it needs the seed, and we'll fertilize it again. But if not, if we don't need to do it, tell your fert company, make sure it's a starter fertilizer. You don't want to put anything else on it. Don't worry about the weeds. You're going to end up with weeds. There ain't nothing you can do about weeds on a plain area unless you're putting in some pre-emergent stuff on it that is good for grass seeding. But a lot of
And you
people don't
can't
want to put that
you
in it.
can't put pre-emergent, right? That's the
There
thing
is
because of
there
There's
there's a
certain ones, yeah.
certain chemical that you can actually put on it that won't kill the seed. And
Tenacity is
it's
a big one.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I've heard it's
expensive.
nasty. Yeah.
It's expensive to put it down, and nobody wants to put that into a contract and say, yeah, we're putting this down so you don't have weeds. Alex says in hydro seeding you can, so I
So
guess you can.
I will say on mine, I won't put any pre-emergent down. I'm not a licensed applicator, but I advise my clients not to put pre-emergent down for the first year, to treat it with just regular fertilizer. You're gonna get some weeds, but I mean, we hit it heavy with seed. We'll sometimes use tack mulch, the blue stuff that you would essentially put in hydro seed. So we tell them to treat address the germination rate, and then on the back end take care of the pre-emergent. So
Yeah,
after the first season.
I 100% agree with that because the lawn still takes time even after a season or two to be fully established, and like putting those types of chemicals on it. Like there are some that you can do. As far as a pre-emergent goes, when you freshly seed a lawn, I don't do it for myself. I'm not a licensed applicator either, but I don't do it for myself. What I will do if it's to a point where maybe there's less germination and I have areas in which some weeds had come up, I'll use something like 2,4-D, or like that's basically the same chemical that's in some of the weeding feeds. Again, the level of effective, the way that affects weeds isn't the greatest, but it's something that you could utilize in the meantime until you're able to overseed again, and then get that lawn into a little more healthier state in which it's able to withstand some of the more stronger pre-emergence in the next season or two even.
So now, Josh, do you hydro seed after you put a patio in, or do you hand seed?
So because we pay a minimum on the hydro seed, it depends on the area.
So you pretty much rent it, right?
What's that?
Do you rent it, or you have a subcontractor?
Oh, I subcontract. We were gonna buy one, but we don't do enough that it justified it. They have this company, I think they're Rhode Island, Henderson hydro seeders, where we've looked at those where they're like 500-gallon hydro seeders that we've considered. I have tanks that I use for brine, but it's just easier and more efficient to sub it out. But if we're just doing a patio, typically we'll just put down the hand seed, tack mulch, and be done with it, and then it's kind of on them to maintain. If it's a large area, like we're cleaning up track marks from a skid steer excavator, then it's pretty close. My minimum I pay is something like $300 or $400 up to 5,000 square feet, and then typically up here it's like 12 to 14 cents a square foot after that. So it's pretty. I mean, the price of seed, the way it's gone up, like hydro seed is very comparable. But if I can get away with like half a bag of seed rather than charging them, with my markup $600 on hydro seed, it passing on to the customer.
Right. I think we don't have a hydro seeder. We do everything by hand. But I mean, it has been something Alex knows. It's something that I've actually looked into getting into. But just kind of like you, I mean, we don't do a lot of hydro seeding. We don't get a lot of calls for that. So it's not something that I'd say we wouldn't need a bigger tank. We wouldn't need a 500-gallon tank. I think a 100-gallon tank would probably do me for what kind of little bit of stuff that we actually do. So, but yeah, I try to hand seed too. And like you said, put the tack fire on it and make sure that you fertilize it, and just, make sure that they have sprinklers on it. I mean, that's also one thing that it's in my contracts with seeding and plants, is that you got to water it. If I come back out and it's not watered, I can't guarantee that something's going to happen. Like my plants, I mean, I guarantee them 6 months. Our nursery doesn't guarantee no more. So literally, if a plant dies, it's on me. I have to go ahead and pay for it to get replaced. So literally, I make sure that they're watering. If they're not watering, and I've had that before. A couple of years back, a customer had us put in 15 arborvitaes, and literally we show back up 2 weeks later, and you could tell they were dry as heck. And I said, you need to water these. And she's like, oh, I'll get to it. And then 6 months later, she's like, I need to get them replaced. And I said, It's up. I told you to water them. I can tell they're totally dry. Half of them died, and so
And
literally
you got to
she
be
was.
careful. You got to be careful with arbs because if she's overwatering them, arborvitae is sensitive to water. If there's too much water in them,
They need to be watered at least once a day, for good soaking, not too over soaking, like you said. But she wasn't watering at all.
At
Like
all.
literally, we maintain the property, we mow the property, so it was like I even took one week and said, "Here, I'll take the hose from your thing, put it all the way out there to where all you have to do is go through and walk it." And we came back, the hose was still laid in the same spot. You could tell that the water wasn't on. And I said, she's got sprinklers. So I think it was like after 6 weeks, I kind of got the sprinklers to kind of turn a little bit to where they were hitting it, but they were in front of all the arborvitaes because of where it was. It was in a bed line, and she didn't have anything else going back there. And I said, well,
It's on them.
yeah, I said, it's something that you're going to have to either add a line, and I told her, I said, I'll reinstall them. I'll give you a discount for the plants, but you gotta pay for me to install a drip line in it. And she was about ready to do it, and her husband said, no, I'll find somebody else that can do it cheaper, put a line in. And I said, okay, go ahead. And right now, as of right now, she's got still 10 dead ones because they planted them. They installed the drip line, but they didn't hook it up into the irrigation system. They made it to where you have to bring the hose all the way out, hook it up to the drip line, the water, and then go back and turn the faucet on.
So they did it twice for nothing.
Right. And, she asked me, earlier this year, was like, hey, how would you have did that drip line? And I said, well, you have sprinkler heads right there. I've done this before. I hook into that line, and when that zone's running, it's dripping water into your arborvitaes. And she goes, oh, okay. I thought that's what this guy was going to do. And I said, that's why you need to ask. And I said, you could have found out that that's the way I did it, but your husband wanted to go a different way, and I can kind of see that, maybe because the guarantee wasn't there, anymore. So it's I try to explain stuff when I do it, and over the years we've learned little tricks on planting stuff, and a lot of things anymore when we're planting, we got to make sure the irrigation's there. If there isn't irrigation in there, we're trying to upsell for irrigation because I can't guarantee the plants. And if I want to guarantee the plants anymore, I want to make sure that there's irrigation anymore. And that kind of helps me, not having to come back 6 months later and say, oh, I got to replace all these landscape beds just because the customer didn't water at all for 6 months, so.
Yeah, it's funny because not that I've had too much instances like that, maybe smaller occurrences, but customers like that will not take accountability for things that obviously they have control of or should have control of. When it comes to you as a business, you kind of have just two situations you have to think about. If you're going to lose no matter what, because they're gonna say it's your fault, or they're not gonna take accountability. It's either you lose or you give them what they want, and you're going to you lose even more.
Right.
So like it's kind of a no-win, but you have to minimize, continuously trying to appease that customer that's not going to, take responsibility. It's going to cost you money.
Oh yeah.
Let me just chime in on that real quick, and it's just a piece of advice for anybody listening. So, in regards to the plants, you don't necessarily need a contract to install a softscape job. It's good to have one, but when you're writing it up on your CRM or you're writing it up on a PDF, I would suggest using the simplest of verbiage when you're writing this up so people understand what your warranty is, how to water them. So the one thing we try to do with the nurseries is we'll try to get a pamphlet, especially if it's on a bigger job, on how to care for the plants. So what I do offer is a slight warranty, which is 3 months. And essentially with that 3 months is what I do is I prorate the cost of the plant down and add that into the cost. So my cost of the plant is built into that price. And some people will say you're higher than, 3 other guys. But then we mentioned that we offer the 3-month warranty. And essentially the 3-month warranty covers my ass if something does go wrong, if they're not planted correctly. a good portion of the time you're right. It's because people aren't watering or they're over watering. But there is the there are other rare occurrences where groundwater's too wet. You install 30 to 40 arborvitaes. You're going to have a couple that are going to die out. I'm surprised we just did 70 on a job, and not one of them died out yet. And it's
all the rain.
Kind of. I'm gonna go by and look at it, but those are past their warranty date, and they were happy that they had that protection. But you can easily protect yourself when you're writing that up. I'm gonna use I'll use Jobber, for instance, and this isn't a push. You can use QuickBooks or a Jobber. So when you do your labor line and your material line, or you do a contract price, which is both, under that, just have a small disclaimer. Type in the description disclaimer and put bullet points of what you do and what the warranty is, what you won't warranty. You write up that, hey, upon warranty, you're going to dig up the soil and see if it's wet. You're going to see if there was a fertilizer added. Out here we have like UMass Dartmouth, where you can send in soil samples around a plant and see what's going on. You can see if what the pH levels are, and obviously if they're low, we know we got an issue there. So there's different things you can do to try to protect yourself on that, where you don't have to have this master contract right now. Well, lawns are the same thing. I mean, honestly, if you don't have an irrigation, which I'm going to say 70% of our lawn installs don't have irrigation, they go, we're going to get an oscillating sprinkler head and move it around. And I'm like, all right, we'll be back next year to do this again. And it's typically what goes. So,
yeah. I understand that. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, yeah, you don't need a contract for landscaping. I think it helps you in the long run, because there is so many people out there and so many customers that you'll install something, and if you don't have something written up that shows them what's going on, they'll come back at you and say, you need to pay for this. And I'm pretty sure you've seen that before too.
I've been sued. I've won,
Yeah.
but I've had people bring me to small claim courts for stuff that again, it wasn't a contract, but it was written on the quote that they accepted. When they hit accept on that quote, you accept all the verbiage on that quote, including the disclaimers. I had one guy with a basketball hoop. The basketball hoop was 2 feet off from where he wanted it, versus he never told us where he wanted it. We centered it to it was kind of like a triangle driveway. We centered it to that. And, like, I think in December of 4 years ago, I got a letter that he was trying to sue me. So I went to court, I paid it, and I countersued him for damages. And I brought it in, and I actually got double the money. So,
wow.
But because I was protected by what I had, there were pictures taken during it. So again, yes, you definitely got to write something. If you don't have a CRM, dude, like Microsoft Word, write it up. There's too many free options to like LegalZoom or something, the free version, and go on PDF, copy and paste, and throw it on there. Or just write what you think you would want as a customer put in there. You would want to say. So
that's the awesome thing about this lawn care community and outdoor community that we're a part of. Like, if you have friends on social media, whatever, reach out to them and see what some of these businesses do. Like, Josh and I have Alex, like, a state away, and it's similar climate, similar type of place. We could always reach out to him and ask what he's doing, and vice versa. You could do the same thing to us. So, like, make your friends on social media, find out, pick their brain, ask questions, and put it all together.
And
I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
For $19.99 a month, I'll give you whatever templates and contracts you want. You could use Jensen's 10.
Oddly enough, that's the same price for my fans only.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's expensive, dude. I mean, you were going ham on that banana.
Yeah. But a good way to network in this business is, if you guys are go to Equip Expo. I mean, there's a lot of landscapers there all across the United States that are there. There's even people from Canada, our friend Don, and there's probably people from Australia that come there, and over the UK and stuff. So, that's a great place to learn and talk to people and actually get to know them. If you can't get on social media, get to know them there, and just talk to people and stop by the social media lounge that Josh and Jensen won't be at, but I'll be at, and talk to people. That's what we do. So, yeah, my bad. Yeah, we know you're talking.
Again, I keep hitting the mute button. I won't be down this year, but I do want to go to the Hardscape Expo that goes on down there. I think that seems pretty cool. So not this year, maybe next year, and I'll pop
Maybe
in and
next
show
year.
my face. Well,
Well,
GIEs is not my thing. It's not my thing. Like
but
I
see,
mean,
with all that $20 you're getting a month from all these customers, you should be able to fly in and have like a suite somewhere down there. A
you
penthouse
know what?
suite.
Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should corner this and like find
Budget
out
it,
how I
man.
could
Put it
have,
into your budget.
have
Yeah, put it
fireworks and
in your
everything, and
budget.
I'm just gonna sell like Microsoft Word documents for like $30 a piece and
Yeah.
run with it.
I would go,
feel-
but the fans only isn't starting off too good.
No. You only got one customer, Josh. That's it.
Yeah.
Support my brother.
Oh. Yeah, so I mean, it's a good time, Josh. You should definitely come eventually if you ever do. I mean, by
Eventually.
then I'll probably be old and dead by then. By the time you come, so I mean, who knows?
I
If
don't
you'll
know
even.
if I would fit in Kentucky, so I don't know.
There's a lot of people that are there that don't fit in, but I think them couple days, I don't think any of those people around there give a crap.
Yeah.
They just want your money, is what they want.
Yeah, right.
They see convention after convention come through there, and then when we come in, it's like, okay, well, these guys, especially some of these drivers. When me and Don took a drive and they took us around on an Uber, dude, the one guy didn't even speak a lick of English, but he was just, you just type it, and he'll tell you, he'll take you wherever you want to go, and he was going some weird ways, and we're like, me and Don were like, where are we going? Like, I don't think this is on the map, but this guy's taking these turns left and right to get us to where we got to go. So whatever, so.
Each time I've gone, I've rented a car, and I actually love driving around there. It's such a cool town. It's a cool city. Like the old little restaurants, the old houses and stuff, and it's cool bars and restaurants. It's a really cool place to just kind of venture around. It's awesome. I've got lucky too. Like every car that I've rented, I've gone for like the most economical car. They hooked me up with like an Acura SUV and like a Jeep Cherokee. It's pretty good.
Nice. So I got a weird question here, and I'm going to ask you guys this one. This one's going to throw you probably out of the park. Okay, we've had all these rolling blackouts and power stuff, okay? And I know battery is going to become an issue. Why in a lot of these videos, and I see it come up and down and stuff, and a lot of stuff is getting switched to solar panels. If we have a zombie apocalypse anymore, how is it not gonna? How is power not gonna be there? That's what I'm watching, like all these zombie things, and they're and I'm thinking now with all the solar panels, like, dude, you're still gonna have power. Like, how are we not gonna have power to run stuff?
Eventually, that runs out. You have to have generators. You have to have people manning those places. Listen,
if they all turn into zombies, they're not going to be working at National Grid.
Yeah, but there's going to be people that are still alive. Like I'm going to still be alive. I got enough weed whips, chainsaws, and all kinds of stuff to stay alive.
I got a rebuttal to that. If there's a zombie apocalypse, I don't think the person who's not the zombie is going to wake up. You know what? I'm going to have my cup of coffee and drive into work today because, I'm just going to.
Well, yeah. I mean, coffee might be hard to find, but I mean.
Listen, zombie apocalypse isn't my thing. I love zombies, and my kids laugh at me because I say in the event of a zombie apocalypse, like I have like these hatchets and these giant hunting knives and stuff, and it comes down to like, listen, zombie apocalypse, I'm set. Like I have all these escape routes and stuff and things set and what I can do to survive. So I'm telling you, what would happen in that event is eventually you need gas to run these generators and stuff in electronic places, or like utility companies, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with solar. You still have to run things. The windmills have to run. Someone has to be there to man them. Eventually, they run out of juice.
Right.
So it's like once they run out of juice, you're screwed.
What are you going to do, Scott?
All right. Here's your example. COVID. Beginning of COVID. How sloppy were people like hoarding toilet paper and COVID?
It was ridiculous.
Just look at that and look at. Not to downplay it or whatever, but look at compared to a zombie apocalypse, like people are going to be killing each other over shit during a zombie apocalypse,
Yeah. Whoever's alive will be. Yeah. I mean, I think you have to be prepared. I think I'm pretty prepared. I have enough weapons and I mean, with everything, I mean, I'd throw my plow on my truck, dude, and just plow through whoever's in my way. Like whatever's there is going to be gone, dude. I don't care. I'll make sure that I have enough, whatever. Um, Gas wise, I think I'd probably hit up a gas station. There is a place down the road from me that literally supplies gas, so I think I would have enough gas
So
if
you're in a
needed be.
cornfield, so you should learn how to run corn. Learn
Yeah,
how to
I
run
probably
corn as
should.
fuel.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. Fuel's only going to last so long in a zombie apocalypse. Think about
right,
Think about toilet paper. To the gas stations. People like in my area, there were lines down the street for gas stations. It's like, where the fuck are you going? They just shut down the state.
I
right,
still
Like
don't
you're not
understand the toilet paper thing. Like, why toilet paper? Like,
because everybody
I,
I don't know. I think you know what? It's people follow the herd.
right.
So it's like everybody, oh, why are they buying toilet paper? I gotta buy toilet paper. And it sucks because we didn't do that. And then like you go to the store and it's like, what the hell are you gonna wipe your ass with? Like crap. Like you're looking for baby wipes and stuff to be able to do it. So, but just
right,
think of it in that aspect where like the gas stations before, and there was no reason for the gas stations to be full. There were travel bans, you couldn't go anywhere. So just put that in your head when it's something more significant, where maybe it is like a biological attack, or it's like Armageddon or a meteor is gonna hit. I know I sound crazy, but I love the sci-fi shit. Like I'm so into it. Like I watch like the tackiest of sci-fi shit, dude. And I'm like,
oh
what would
yeah,
I do if I was in that situation? I mean, think about it. Jensen's at his house, right? Nobody has food, nobody has water. He's cooking a steak. People are gonna smell that steak from blocks away. And what are they gonna do? They're gonna come in and they're gonna murder his ass for that steak. you know? Like think people are
In the middle of my fans only session.
yeah. You ain't gonna have internet. Are you just gonna be recording it for yourself? Like,
You have to
you
have
know,
backups, just in case
yeah,
the power does
yeah.
come back on. A library.
Yeah,
I have a catalog.
So now going into that, and with COVID, have you guys like saved up stuff? Have you bought an extra stuff to actually be ahead of the game if something ever happened?
I've
Have you
watched
done?
like YouTube videos of like these people that do the prepping, and like some of them
Right.
are super crazy, and some of them are like have valid points and stuff like that. Like at least have something. But I was starting to get into it just as like a hobby type of thing. Like if there's no electricity, whatever, like how would I survive? And but no, I don't have anything saved, man. Don't come to my house if there's ever like some kind of world emergency, because I don't have anything to give you.
Do you have a bug out bag?
I was just about to say I got a bug
Yeah,
out bag and
dude, I've had a bug
perishables.
out bag for 10 years.
I
Have
think
non-perishables, yeah.
I think all married men have a bug out bag.
That's a different
Maybe.
bug out bag, though.
Maybe. I mean, I guess you got to have it. I mean, just in case. But I mean, I kind of got into a little bit of prepping 10 years ago with my brother. My brother talked to me into getting a bug out bag, and we used to go to a lot of those stores. There's the military stores and get stuff. And I mean, I go through it and change out some of my food here regularly. So I mean, it's good to have one. Prepping wise, we don't really prep. I mean, we do our vegetables and we get our can our vegetables and kind of freeze some stuff and try to go for a couple months on stuff that we get. But really, I mean, I've never been prepped to where we were prepping. My parents used to prep back in right before Y2K. They prepped. I know my stepdad literally, he had cans upon cans. He had water. He had a whole cabinet full of stuff that literally after Y2K went through, he was like, okay, I guess I got to start going through this stuff because, it's not,
We're eating green beans for 2 months straight.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, he had like cans of everything. Like if you could find a can, he had the can. Like, water, he had water. He had those big old square totes full of like rice and meat,
They say
He had
Spam
it
lasts
all.
forever in a can.
Yeah. He had it all. So, I mean, I think it set him up for probably about 2 years worth of food, but
I
didn't
got
get much.
a good one. I had when I first was getting into this, I had a guy that was kind of trying to be a mentor to me, Mike Tobin, landscape and excavation. He passed away a few years ago, heart complications. But he had a customer in Western Mass, And if you live in the Massachusetts area, you know Weston is one of the more affluent areas in the state. He built a high-end underground bunker with an underground generator in a capsule for this guy, and it was like state-of-the-art shit. It was crazy. I guess the inspector had come by and was like, what the fuck? Like, who does this? And I guess the guy was like a massive doomsday prepper, like end of the world type shit. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, I'm prepping for it. Like, definitely like some mental instability, but I still thought it was cool. Like, this dude got to go in and like with his equipment, his crew, and build an underground bunker for someone. So that's got like, I would take the job in a heartbeat. I think that's got to be super cool. You know,
I question that, man. Like, I question how much of it is seriousness and how much of it is a hobby.
I think there's both. I mean, there is. I mean, if you ever watch, there is that underground bunker show, and it's still going. There's tons of people, dude, that buy land out in the middle of nowhere, put bunkers in. Like Josh said, just put some elaborate bunkers in that they're ready. I mean, I think there is a guy in Missouri or something like that where he bought a military missile silo and actually transplanted it all into a bunker, literally to live probably 100 people in there, I think it is. And literally, it's just him and his wife right now that live in the thing. They literally live in it day after day. So it's more of like a house right now, but he has it just in case, he said. It's it's a lifestyle and it's, a hobby too. So
what's in your bug out bag?
Knives, matches. You got to have wool to start a fire. You got to have some clothes. You got to have food, water, all the necessities pretty much. I think I got a roll of toilet paper in there just in case if I have to wipe my butt, if I can't find leaves. You got to have different things. I got a hatchet. There's all kinds of things. I don't know about what Josh has got. He probably has nothing in his bag. He's probably an empty bag.
Echo Red Armor hand scrub.
Yeah, that's what he's got.
No, I got essentials like matches, first aid kit. I have rescue rope. I got some other things I'm not going to mention here, but I mean, it's duly prepared. I mean, if anything happens, like essentially, it's like stuff like think of like if you were to go hiking and you were worried you would get lost in the mountains. It's kind of similar to that. So
I got another question. All right, so. You both have. I don't have a bug out bag. You both have bug out bags.
I'm surprised by that. Honestly, you don't have a bag. You don't have a bug out bag.
Jensen doesn't. Yeah.
Right now, at this very moment, do you know where that bag is?
Yep. Yes.
Wow. Okay. I thought you were gonna be like, oh shit, where is it?
Yep. I know exactly where it's at, and it's easily accessible. I mean, when my brother started getting into it. He used to keep his bag in his car, and then when he would go into his house, he would take it into his house with him. So where it was pretty much within close vicinity to where he could take and just grab it and just go if he had to.
You guys inspire me. I think I'm gonna work on that today. I'm gonna make a bug out bag, and one of the first things I'm gonna put in it is a box of Dunkaroos and a comic book.
Bro, go to Tractor Supply. Everything you need is right there.
Yeah,
Tractor
pretty
Supply,
much.
Everything's right there.
Except for the bag. I mean, you need a good military bag.
Yeah.
So
Army Navy store, you're all set.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have a gas mask?
No, I don't. I wish I did.
Actually, it's not a gas mask, but from I did auxiliary fire, so I have some stuff down there. It wouldn't last forever, but I have respirators for work and all that shit too. So I have spares. But I still have some of my stuff from the fire department when I did the aux and the training and stuff that would work. It would help me get outside of him, but like God forbid, like someone threw a fucking biological grenade or something in my fucking house. I'm done. I think I'm safe from that.
I think if somebody did that, I think we're all done. Yeah, I think we're
exactly.
all.
I know my limits when I'm done. Like I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just make sure you get it right in the head somewhere, go through the brain. That's what I've heard. That's what I keep watching on all these shows.
Yeah, with my luck, I'd survive it.
You'd miss. It's like you pull a trigger and it would just
do permanently disable. It'll do something so that like
yeah,
I'm conscious, but I can't walk now.
right.
I wonder what kind of zombie would you be?
I gotta
don't
say,
know.
I gotta send you guys something. There was actually a study, and I don't know if it was an international university or if it was here, but there was a study that there's actually a scenario in a disease where you could have zombie-like effects in a human being, and essentially, it's nerve damage in the brain, something with the frontal lobes,
Okay.
and it shuts you off. Like you're not actually dead. But like, I think you guys remember, like with think about like with bath salts. Remember the stuff going down like down in Florida where
Yeah.
people were, like acting
Right.
like zombies. So something similar to that, where it's like all like a neurological disorder, but it's like a permanent neurological disorder. So I gotta find it, and then you can post up on
Dude,
the
that's
IG
crazy.
page or something.
That's basically what rabies is. Like rabies.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine like think of something like that that could evolve. And then all of a sudden, like something spits on you, you cough and spray goes, and boom, you're infected. Or it'd be like The Walking Dead, where everybody has it.
But I just feel that it's funny, like some of them that like they're trying to make cures and stuff on these shows, and you're like, you ain't gonna be able to make a cure, like,
No.
And I don't think there would be no like half breed, like half zombie, half, like on The Last of Us, like that's just like where the chick's, been bit, but she's not totally turned, but she's, there's no way.
Oh yeah, she's immune to the virus. Started watching
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what I don't get with some of these shows is like I know you got to reproduce, but I think I'm the last person. Like I wouldn't want a baby rolling with me like in a zombie apocalypse. Like calling God. Like no, I'm good. I'm rolling solo.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that would be definitely something. I don't know, like watching The Walking Dead when they had the baby, and she grew up. Like, how did you go from place to place? I mean, that's the thing. Like, you couldn't go nowhere. You had to be stuck in a room somewhere.
These people were sneezing, and there was a herd coming, and then you got a baby
Right.
screaming its ass off. Like Scott,
Right.
you remember having your kids, and when they had colic or whatever, how bad they would scream. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. Like, there's, that's like 2-3 years of nonstop kid crying. Like, there's no way. There's no way I'm not gonna. I agree with you on that one. There's definitely. I don't think I would have a kid. Same.
World War Z was a good one because those are the ones that would scare the shit out of me. The zombies that can sprint. Oh my god, dude, can you imagine that? Like, forget it. At least the ones that would walk, like if you have a gun or even a fucking hatchet or something, or you can run, you can outrun them. But the ones that sprint, like, can you imagine like hitting the corner and all of a sudden seeing the herd and then
Dude, they like climbing over each other, making walls and stuff.
Bro, dude, I would like right there. That's like dead serious. Like at that point, I'm like, see you later. I won't even bother, dude. Oh god.
But it's even like, think about it. If you had all them let's say a whole crap load of ammo, you're not, and the herd's coming at you. There's no way you're gonna kill every one of them.
What are you gonna do? It's one of those things. Well, I'm taking 2 of them with me. Like,
right.
Yeah,
they're already
gone. You're done,
right.
Dude. Like they don't.
It's like I watched some of them, and it's like they're coming at them, and they have like 10 bullets, and they're like, okay, well, I can shoot 10 of them and then run from the rest. There's still 50 of them. There's still 50. What are you gonna do with the other 50 that it's still gonna follow you?
You're gonna have to like go somewhere close to the ocean, get a boat, find a freaking island, and hope that they can't walk underwater.
Yeah, they did that. They did that in what was the spinoff of The Walking Dead? Still Walking Dead?
Fear of the Walking Dead.
Fear of the Walking Dead. They did a spinoff where they were on the boat, and I forget. Like I stopped watching it, and it ended up on the boat, and they had to get back. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, again, think of it. I hate comparing it, but think of a zombie virus was COVID. Do you remember how fast? I remember that. News breach where it came out that the guy that had traveled from Asia came to JFK. No, he traveled and he landed in Cali, went to Logan, and then to JFK. And within a day of that happening, the shit was just like, why? Like case here, case there, case here, case there. Like it literally went from like Boston, Cali, and made its way down to Scott. Now, again, now imagine if that was a zombie apocalypse, dude. You'd be screwed. There wouldn't be enough time to get stuff together.
No.
That's why people say gas stations and stuff. You look at what a flu did to people, and gas stations were full. Like water bottles were gone. Like your water's not going to be clean. You can't drink water like that. Eventually you run out. But it's crazy to think about. I mean, I know it's not going to happen, but it's fun to think about.
It is fun to think about. It's definitely something to think about. So, everybody, this was a great episode. Listen to us, subscribe. Next week, who knows what we'll be talking about. This was a great talk this week about zombies and grass seed and moisture just destroying it. So, did you ever think of like the fungus one, like on Last of Us? Like, I mean, there is lots of mushrooms out there, dude, that could take over in no time.
Dude, was there a season 2 that came out yet?
Not yet. It's coming,
Okay.
and yeah, it was signed, and they are going to come out with it. So
I don't eat mushrooms. I eat bananas.
I kind of eat mushroom tips.
Don't eat mushrooms, guys.
I know we got to sign off, but The Last of Us, I got a little turned off towards the end just because I can kind of see the direction it's going, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It was good the way it amped it up, but I think it's going to turn very tacky. But,
yeah,
I mean, no, definitely like fungal. Why not fungal? Why couldn't you?
Right.
But think about it. Could you germinate a lawn in a zombie apocalypse?
Dude, what was that movie with Mark
would be kinda
Wahlberg where the trees were like messing up it was like a zombie movie. People were just like jumping off buildings and stuff.
Bro, oh my god.
Yeah.
That was the worst fucking movie ever. Like that was with the girl from New Girl. Zoe something. Dude, it's funny. Like I've watched every zombie movie and being from Boston, obviously I'm a Mark Wahlberg fan. That movie ruined the motherfucker for me. And like I remember when my daughters and my wife came home, like, oh my god, I just saw the worst movie. But it was one of those things where it's so bad that you had to continue to watch. But it was, dude, the acting. It was the writing and the acting. Like watch 15 minutes of it and you'll see the only one that was good in it was John Leguizamo, the actual actor at that point. But actually, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You talking about him falling off the building? I just started watching the one with Negan and what's her name from Walking Dead.
Oh,
they're in Manhattan and they're actually walking off the buildings and out the windows.
Did that start?
Yeah, that started.
I didn't know the spinoff started
3 weeks ago. And I watched the first episode, and they were literally falling off the building, dude. And they're walking through Manhattan, and they're just falling out of the buildings. I mean, think about all those buildings that could be full. Like Josh said, if it spreads that fast, dude, you're gonna have buildings full. Yeah.
Hey, here's so that movie with Zoe Deschanel and Mark Wahlberg is called The Happening. And a science teacher, his wife, and a young girl struggle to survive a plague that causes those infected to commit suicide. And Jensen's right, because like in the opening scene when it's going, like it shows people just running into cars, like hitting their, like snapping their necks. And like the last scene of that was like a cop that's going to rescue somebody stops, like pulls his gun out and just fucking blows a bullet in his head. And it's like, okay, that's crazy. But again, that stuff's cool. The acting is just fucking horrible.
Yeah, it's a disturbing movie. Like,
it is.
The Happening, if you want to check it. The Happening. Mark Wahlberg.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard there's a new Saw movie coming out. Not to extend this, but yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a new Saw one. Yeah, that's.
Oh, we gotta do horror movies next week.
Yeah, now we gotta go back to horror movies. Thanks, Josh Jensen. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being on. It was a great episode, guys. Keep liking, keep subscribing, keep watching, keep listening. I mean, we love it all. So, but definitely put a comment on, please. Comment. Tell us if you subscribe to Jensen and his fans only page. And then, Josh is trying to sell his contract. So for $20. Might be $19.99. Use code Jensen10 and you'll get 10% off of anything.
No. You'll pay 10% more.
Yeah, but you get a free month subscription with me.
Yeah. 3 month subscription if you use Josh10. Okay. Josh 10 loves all. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a good night. Have a good day.